Happy Friday, everybody. I know we're a little late. I get it. I had some stuff to do today, wanted to sleep in as well. So enjoyed my day off. But anyway, back to give you guys some picks, run down the games, all that good jazz that we do every single time. But before that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Give the video a thumbs up, blah, blah, blah. Get into the recap. Another fun day. I love August. August is so much fun. All right, Cleveland and New York. Oh man, we needed Cleveland to just score anything. If they score anything, this goes over. They did not. They got blanked. They got like 2 hits. Crazy. Yankees raced to 4. Stupid sweat free. Athletics money line, pretty sweat free. They just kind of took the lead right out the gate and never let it go. Orioles raced to 3. Corbin Burns pitched like crap. The Orioles offense couldn't hit. Basically, I picked every team that couldn't hit yesterday. That's kind of really just the gist of it. They were just really good at leaving runners in scoring position. Angels in Toronto, we got hooked there. That ended at 8. Angels scored 5 in the second, so I'm like, that's going to be sweat free. It took the Blue Jays scored 5 in the second, and then the Angels didn't score until the 9th inning. Then they score 3, so that ended at 8. So there was really only 2 half innings where runs were scored. Pretty crazy. New York Mets, San Diego Padres. That was sweat free. That just didn't pan out in the direction we hoped for. Ended up being 11. Luis Severino, his K prop was like 3.5, and he hit that in like the 3rd inning. Just absolutely was blowing the Padres away. I think he had 5 Ks by the end of the 3rd inning. I don't know what he finished at. I'll be honest. I just completely stopped watching the game after that. Dylan Cease looked like shit. So it's back-to-back games against the Mets in terms of his starts where they have just really got to him quite hard. All right, and then our parlays. Cleveland didn't do shit, so ended up that would have hit had Cleveland scored some runs. Milwaukee, I mean, what on earth, Milwaukee? My God, just where is the offense? They just kept leaving runners in scoring position. Ridiculous. Miles Mikolas had just basically his best start of the year, so I'm glad we could be a part of that. We were just on the wrong side. Pitcher prop, that was a heartbreaker, man. That hurt so bad. We were going to have a profitable day. We hit Williams was easily, well, it wasn't easy, but he ended up at 5 Ks. Mikolas was sweat free. He ended up at 3. Arrighetti had 3 coming into, I want to say, the 4th or 5th inning. It was his inning before last. He ends up striking out 2 that inning, and I'm like, oh my God. So anyway, he ends up striking 3 of his last 5 hitters out to go over this prop. He ended up at 6. So that was gut-wrenching. He was like plus 180 to get 6 strikeouts at one point. So that was brutal, man. Fucking Cowser. He struck him out like 3 times. Like, damn, dude. Put the ball in play. So anyway, rough day there. And then on our picks, obviously the Orioles just offensively, it just came down to the offenses just didn't show up. Orioles, Brewers, Padres, Phillies, Reds, Rockies. Now with the Rockies, I didn't know they were going to like rest all their starters. That was highly unfortunate. I didn't place a bet in that, but when I saw the starting lineup, I'm like, who the fuck are these guys? So yeah, and then the Tigers, so unfortunately that was the day Kenta Maeda started. So, I love the fade Kenta Maeda. So had I known that, unfortunately I didn't look till after the game had started, and the Cubs were up by like 5 at that point. So unfortunately we missed Kenta Maeda day. That's just like, it's giving free money away. That pains my heart. On the props, we went 5-3. Nerfies, we went 2-0. The leans, the Lodolo earned runs was looking great until the bottom of the 5th, and then he just exploded or imploded, however you want to do it. They actually had a rundown where they could have gotten out that inning, I believe, with no runs, and they botched the rundown, and then it was just this cascade effect of like 7 runs. So crazy game there, but the first 4 innings were good. Anyway, hot and cold. Not going to get into that too much. The only thing that really stood out to me was Pete Alonso, Jose Iglesias, and Francisco Lindor all are hitting really well off Joe Musgrove. So Pete Alonso's hitting 3 for 10. Iglesias is 6 for 15. Lindor 7 for 20. Each of them have a home run. Lindor has 2 home runs. So Alonso's hitting 300, Iglesias 400, and Lindor 350 off of him. So there is some Good stuff there in terms of the Reds and the Pirates. You've got Tyler Stevenson and Spencer Steer are both hitting extremely well off of Falter. Spencer Steer is 6 for 10 off of him, and Tyler Stevenson is 6 for 13. So maybe some hitter potential there. In terms of cold hitters, J Ram for Cleveland hasn't hit so well off Eovaldi. He is 3 for 17. And then Austin Hedges for Cleveland. No one really cares about him. Harrison Bader and Jesse Winker for the Mets have struggled against Musgrove, 1 for 11 and 2 for 13 respectively. Hot pitcher matchups. Tanner Bybee has a really good track record against Texas. They are 12 for 61 off of him with only 1 home run, so they're hitting 197. And Mackenzie Gore against the Braves. They're only hitting 203, 14 for 69 off of him. The current folks on the lineup. In terms of kind of bad or cold pitcher matchups, Bailey Falter has not fared well against the Reds. He's given up a 365 average. Kyle Freeland has not fared well against basically any team, but specifically the Yankees. They've torched his ass. Shocker. And then Michael Wacha actually has not fared well against the Phillies. They're hitting 306 off of him with 4 home runs and 62 at-bats. So there's the hot and cold. In terms of the tracker, GG, man, August has just been, August sucks. I can't wait till it's over. So we've basically given away all the profit that we had accrued in July. Brutal. All right, let's get into the card today. A lot of games I don't like. A lot of games I'm going to fade. This is probably one of them. I like the Reds in this spot. Andrew Abbott has pitched really well away. So I do like him there. Obviously, we talked about how Falter has not had the best track record against the Reds. They're hitting 365 off of him in his career, which is 7 games against the Reds. He is 0-3 with a 6.67 ERA. So I would heavily skew the Reds. It's just these are 2 coin flip teams. Like, you don't know if they're going to score freaking 8 runs or 0. So on paper, it's a good Reds matchup. It's just which one's going to show up? Which Reds team, which Pirates team? I don't know. Flip a coin, but I would say things are heavily skewed towards the Reds, and we're getting good odds. This actually jumped to plus 100 right now, so you can get them at plus money. All right, Rockies and Yankees. Not much to talk about here. Yankees run line. It's juiced. I got it at minus 130 this morning. It's already like minus 150 something. So I forgot to bet it last night. I don't know exactly what it was, but I had done most of my research last night, and I really wanted to bet this, but it wasn't available on DraftKings at the time. So love this. Rodon, he's starting to come into form. He's pitched a lot better, but plus 235. This has gone up as well. All these lines have gone up since probably an hour ago when I updated this. So I think this is like minus 3 something now. So the only way to really play this is run line, or you just pass. It's okay. You don't have to play these big ass lines, right? It's a lot of juice you're taking. So maybe it's a Yankees fade. I'm gonna play it. I'll take the run line. Like I said, I got it for like minus 130 something this morning. Astros at the Orioles. Orioles are plus money for a reason. Kate Povich on the hill, not great. He's a lefty. That said, Houston hasn't hit great against lefties, but Hunter Brown has just kind of been lights out. So I like the Astros, especially after their performance yesterday. They just, every time they had 2 outs with a runner on base, they just kept coming up with clutch hits. So this easily could have been a very, very, 1-0, 2-0 kind of game. But the Astros just had clutch hit after clutch hit with runners in scoring position. So if we look at the Astros, they just have not fared well against lefties, though. Only 4 earned runs versus the last 5 left-handed starters. So take it for what you will. That said, there is a lot of momentum on their side, and we're just seeing a lot of regression from the Orioles in terms of their offense. So, if we look at the 5 left-handed starters the Astros face, though, Kai Busch, which sounds easy, but no team's really gotten to him. Garrett Crochet, James Paxton. That's one you should get to. Haney and Falter. So the last 3, probably guys you should get to. So a little bit concerning there. But like I said, we look at Brown. He's been really good. 4 earned runs over his last 4 away starts. So I like him in this spot, but we'll have to see. I guess who knows today. All right, next game, Blue Jays at the Angels. This is another one that just keeps going up. I think it's like minus 205 now. So Jack Kochanowicz, I don't know. I can never get this dude's name right. Anyway, facing Chris Bassett. The line that's kind of weird to me here is Bassett's earned run line is at 1.5. That's like real low for him. I mean, he's been over this in like 8 of 10. So kind of a strange one there, and that kind of tells you where the books are. So I like the Blue Jays. If you want to find some value, maybe just isolate Kochanowicz and Bassett and do like a first 5 minus a half. Could even look at run line at plus money. I think that's possible. But that said, I know this Jack guy has a pretty bad ERA, but over his last 2 starts, he's only given up two earned runs to Washington, but then he gave up like 7 to Oakland. So he's kind of all over the place. Bassett hasn't exactly been stellar. He's given up 20 earned in his last 5 starts. He got roughed up pretty good against Baltimore, maybe. I can't remember which team, but he got fucked up pretty good. So interesting game there. All right, Cleveland at the Rangers. Wait, that ain't right. Rangers at Cleveland. There we go. Eovaldi, Bibee. Eovaldi away has just been absolute trash. So 22 earned runs in his last 6 starts. You know, even at home now, he's been giving up a ton of runs. So this is an insta fade for me. We're seeing a Texas offense that really isn't clicking. We're seeing a Guardians team that's struggling. They get to go home. They are a very good home team. Just kind of feels like this could be the series where they get right here. I wouldn't be shocked if they sweep this. So I like Bibee versus the Rangers. He's had success over, look at the course of this season and last season over 3 games, 1.62 ERA. I like him here. He should bounce back in a big way, give him a much needed great start, and kind of help jumpstart this team. So love Cleveland today. I think they hit. I know they haven't been, but today's the day. All right, interesting game. I love this game. I don't know if I'd love to pick a winner, but this should be a fun game just to watch. Bello versus Nelson, D-backs, and the Sox. This was 9.5 last night when I did it, so we'll delete that because it already jumped to 10, but I really like that 9.5 line. And my notes are completely wrong because they are updated for the other game. Sweet. Okay. Well, like I said, I did a lot of this last night. Some of the lines moved. Anyway, we can delete that. If we look at Nelson, he's looked okay his last couple starts. Still going to give up runs. I think that's unavoidable with him against this team. Man, I would say at least 3 he's going to give up. Bello has really kind of turned the corner. He's actually looked really good. I mean, you can pretty much count on him to give up 2 to 3. So I think both of these guys, you know, we're looking like a first 5 over, I think is definitely a possibility. We do have the wind blowing out in Fenway. This is going to be Nelson's first start in Fenway, so I do think that does matter to some degree. We look at the pitch splits for both guys. They are bad. I mean, this on paper, this is runs, and runs. Pitch splits aren't great. Bello's 267 to left-handed hitters. We know that the D-backs love to do damage from the left-handed side. He's given up a 259 average to righties. Nelson's 240 to lefties, 306 to righties. So with the D-backs, I guess you would rather be stronger to the right-hand side than the left. Both teams are kind of built the same way. The lefties will mess you up. But either way, I think runs. We look at the batting splits. I mean, it's just green for both teams. Absolute green. But I like the Red Sox here. If I had to pick a team, I would go Red Sox, but maybe look at like a team total, but they're both juiced. So we do have a play in this. We'll talk about it later. All right, Cubs at the Marlins. No. I'm going to fade it. Meyer, not great. 5.48 home ERA. You can pretty much just count on him giving up 3 to 4. That's like clockwork. Hendricks, he confuses me. He just throws absolute meatballs, and nobody really tags him for a ton. That said, Miami did get 4 off of him. I mean, this is a coin flip type game. Maybe look at an over-under. I think it might have dropped down to 8 now. If it's 8, I like it. 8 definitely has hook potential. So you've got that kind of safety built in. I just can't see these games going under 8. But 2 bad teams. Would prefer not to play it. Nats at the Braves. I like the Braves. The only way you can find value is run line. It's just the Nats kind of scare me a little bit. Will the Braves hit? Like, you don't know. So If we look at Gore, he's got a 5 away ERA. Sale's got a 2.8 at home. Gore has been giving up some runs, so he's given up 14 earned runs over his last 3 away starts to Philly, the Diamondbacks, and the Cards. We look at Sale. It's not that he's inhuman. He will give up some runs. It's somewhere between 1 to 2. If we look over his last 10, 11 starts, it's going to be somewhere in that 1 to 2 range. But is this a day the Nats just come out hitting like gangbusters? Maybe. But I can't expect them to get the job done here. Who knows? All right, Tigers at the White Sox. This is a full fade for me. I don't really want anything to do with this game. We know one team will win for sure. That's about all we can really say. Kiter Montero looked excellent in his last start. He's just on this roller coaster ride of good start, bad start, good start, bad start. Going up against Chris Flexen. Flexen at home has been really good. He's given up 2 earned runs or less in his last 4 home starts. That said, the dude's 2-12. So, I don't know. Flip a coin. Like, if you bet on this game, you got a problem. Like, you have a gambling problem. Confirmed. Like, check the box. Pass. Do not touch this game. Jesus Christ. Like, there's nothing I would touch in that game. All right. You guys want to bet that game? I don't know. I wouldn't. Cardinals Twins. I like Twins. Festa, man, dude, this guy's last 5 starts, like, he has been electric. His strikeout line is really low today, so I did look at that. It's just Cardinals don't strike out a ton. I mean, we look at yesterday. Like Freddie Peralta's K line was 5.5. He got 2. So, not a team that's been striking out a ton lately. That does scare me. It obviously works in the Cards' favor. But man, it's just not a stellar team. Palante is not a stellar pitcher. The Twins have just been just a better baseball team. So I'll go Twins here. I like them. I'll pay the -148 there. The stats look really good. I can't find an angle really to play the Cards, but I mean it's plus money, so it could be worth playing them. All right, Royals at the Phillies. Phillies at the Royals. Jesus Christ. All right, anyway, Tajon Walker, the absolute earned run machine. Loves earned runs. Going up against Michael Wacha. Wacha's looked pretty good. He's given up 6 earned runs in his last 4 starts. That was against the Reds at Cincy. Then he had the Cardinals. He was at the Tigers, and he was at the White Sox. So you can't glean a ton into that, right? I mean, the Reds, Tigers, White Sox, those are kind of throwaway games. St. Louis, yeah, okay. You did good against your old team. So you can't glean a whole lot into that. And if we look at Tajon Walker, I mean, he's had 2 starts since he's came back from like a finger blister or some shit that kept him out for 6 weeks. He's given up 3 earned runs to the Nats and the Marlins. I think he's going to give up a couple more today. So wouldn't be shocked if that's like 4 or 5. I believe his earned run line is 3.5 today. That's pretty high. So I like the Royals here to get the job done. -135 for a team that is just really good at home. And, when they do get home, they tend to hit. Whereas we've seen when the Phillies leave Citizen Bank Park, their bats stay there and they don't travel with them. So I like them to get the job done today. All right, Athletics and the Brewers. Aaron Savali going up against J.P. Sears. Brewers can't score. They have not been hitting. That said, the A's didn't exactly tear up the Rays, but the Rays have good pitching. Like it or not, man, that bullpen is solid. Starters are pretty good. So we've seen that for the past 4 series. Whoever has played them just hasn't put up a ton of runs. So they have the #1 bullpen for a reason. Today, the Brew Crew. I don't like Aaron Savali. He's kind of an insta fade to me. J.P. Sears has really been trending in the right direction. He had a very rough start to the season, but he's 10-8. 10-8 on a team that has a bad record. So that tells you something. He's only given up 5 earned runs in his last 4 starts. We've seen the Brew Crew struggle against lefties. Savali has a bad track record against the A's. He's got a 6.75 ERA in 2 games against them. They gave up 6 runs in 22, 2 earned runs in 23. Yeah, like I said, Milwaukee's only scored 6 earned runs against the last 5 lefties. So they could break out, right? That's certainly a possibility. Just too many factors working against the Brew Crew here. So you've got Savali, who is just gives up runs, and then their struggles offensively. So it's just too many for me. I'll take my chances with Oakland and hope they can hit. Just feel like against a righty, man, this is just such a good get right spot. And the A's at home, we all know they're a weird team at home. They like to upset people. All right, couple more games here to go. Mets at the Padres. I mean, the Padres, dude, what is going on? They have not looked good. The Twin series, they looked good the first game. That was it. And then the Mets just spanked them yesterday. I got question marks in here. I don't really know. I think I put Padres. I'm not touching a winner here. Paul Blackburn. My only thing about Blackburn is he has not faced a top 10 lineup since April. And that game in April where he did face, I think it was the Phillies, he got beat all around the park. So he's been facing a bunch of bottom 10 teams and he's been very up and down. So that doesn't give me a lot of confidence that he's going to come in here and do anything special. That said, we've got a decent amount of players on the Mets that have a good track record against Musgrove, right? We already talked about it with Lindor, Iglesias, and Pete Alonso. So I just like runs here. This was 8. It's dropped to 7.5. Give me the over again. I know Musgrove's looked really good, but are the Manic Mets back? Maybe. Pitch flicks look terrible for both of them. So similar to yesterday, I mean, they look just like this, and we took the over. Go right back to that well. Don't really care who wins. All right, Giants at the Mariners. Luis Castillo going up against Hayden Birdsong. Birdsong looked really good when he first came in. He has definitely struggled as of late. His last outing was okay, but, it was against Oakland. And then it's like 1 run, 5, and 7. So Detroit and Washington hammered him. We look at Castillo. He's just very good at home. He's only given up 7 earned runs in his last 4 starts. And I think one game he gave up like 3 or 4. So that's a little bit skewed just towards one game. We look at Birdsong. He's just definitely worse when he gets away from San Fran. And Castillo is just better at home. So it's a good spot here. The Mariners bats, it's always the question. Will it show up? Will it not? It just seems like when they get home, they just tend to throw up like 5 or 6 randomly. So I do like the over here. I think it dropped to 7 as well. So I like the over 7 for sure. All right, Rays and the Dodgers. Man, we are paying a lot of juice. Minus 198, going up against the best bullpen in the MLB over the last 30 days. Tyler Alexander's been pretty decent. He's only given up 4 earned runs in his last 14 innings pitched. That's tough, man. Bobby Miller's coming off an injury. Man, he looked terrible in his first start. He looked really, really bad. It's hard for me to pay that much juice. I love playing the Dodgers, but this might be a little too much. Maybe look at the under. I know this is probably not 9 anymore. It's probably dropped to 8.5, maybe even 8. I would probably lean towards like an under. I don't trust the Rays offense. But I don't trust that the Dodgers are going to torch the Rays either. Not with Bobby Miller. There's a lot of things going on there, right? They did just DFA Jason Hayward because Chris Taylor is now back. So we've got some lineups, right? We got Max Muncy back. Like I said the other day, like the gang is back together. So offensively, they might roll. It's just I don't know about a lefty. Lefties against the Dodgers do worry me a little bit, but. Yeah, splits against Bobby Miller just aren't good, man. He hit 317 against lefties, 315 against righties. He scared shit out of me. Anybody else, I'm probably dodgering up, but the only way to find juice is taking like run line at plus 100. It's touchy, man. I don't know. Rays offense sucks, but their pitching's good. So I go Dodgers here, but damn, it's hard to really find value there. I put them on the card. All right, let's talk about the card. I got Yankees run line at minus 135. Like I said, this is juiced like 155 now or something like that. Athletics team total over 3.5 at minus 105. Just good value. I can 100% see them getting runs off of Savali, maybe 2, maybe 3. And we saw in the last series against the Cardinals that the Brewers bullpen isn't in great shape, and they were giving up some runs. So I like them to get some runs there. Mets Padres over 7.5, just going right back to that well. Like I said, Blackburn hasn't faced a top 10 offense since April. So I think he struggles today, and I think Musgrove has some issues with the Mets. All right, San Fran and Seattle over 7. The only thing that scares me about this is Seattle did fire their manager, so we're going through a manager swap. I just don't think it has that much of an impact, but I do like the over 7 here. Like I said, Seattle, first game of the series at home, just tend to have these like offensive pop-off games, and I think Birdsong's a good one to do that on. And then Red Sox race to 4. So we're hoping the Red Sox get to Nelson before the Diamondbacks get to Bello. It's going to be a fun game to watch. It should be a ton of offense. Now that I said that, it'll probably be like a 3-2 game somehow. But yeah, we'll take the Red Sox in the race at plus money. Almost thought about race to 5 at plus 130. It just 5's kind of a scary number. So I think 4 should be a safe number, or safer. Parlays we're going to play today: Yankees -1, Twins and the Guardians plus 302. We're going to take the San Francisco. So all these are over 7. So we're going to take the Giants, the Mariners, the Brewers, the Athletics, the Cubs, and the Marlins, all to get at least 7. I think one of these probably hook, and we end up at 7. So this might end up getting dropped down to like plus 200 potentially, but I like those. They feel fairly safe. And then we're going to take Philly and Casey over 8. I mean, this is a situation where either Casey torches Taijuan Walker or the Phillies torch Waka. Like, someone's getting hammered. It's impossible to me that we don't see at least 5 runs through the first 5 innings. It just seems highly unlikely. And then give me Toronto. I think I put TO, but Toronto first 5 -0.5. And then give me Texas, Cleveland over 6. So we're taking an alt line there. That's plus 291. Fun parlays we're doing: Cleveland, Minnesota, Houston, Yankees, KC. Pair those together, it is plus 1,066. And our upset parlay is going to be Oakland, the Reds, and the Diamondbacks at plus 782. Prop leans I like. Taijuan Walker's K props at 2.5. That really kind of tells you how the books think today is going to go. That's insanely low. He's over that in 90% of his last 15 games. So the Royals are not a team. It's not like they have like a really low strikeout rate. They are definitely prone to K-ing, especially the back half of that order. Cade Povich over 1.5 walks. That's just kind of a low line. I think with all the good Astros hitters, he's going to be trying to hit corners. I could definitely see that hitting. Andre Palante under 2.5 walks. That's a little too much. He's not crazy accurate, but he's not that wild. So 2.5's a little steep. Savali over 2.5 earned runs at plus money. Just kind of a correlation play that I think the Athletics are going to score some runs today. So it kind of correlates with our team total over. Juan Soto over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. It's like, dude, if you're going to keep giving us Judge or Soto on this line, I'll take it all day, every day. And then Bobby Witt Jr. over 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at minus 105. You can also do his, I think, over 1.5 bases, but it's like minus 130. So either one's fine. There's just more value here at minus 105. Nerfies, we did go 2 for 2 yesterday. So the only 2 I like on the card today are the Cards and the Twins, and the Nats and the Braves. I did look at the Giants and the Mariners. It's at like minus 130, but like I said, I can see the Mariners. It's crazy, but I can see them coming out and throwing up like 1, 2, 3 runs in the first inning somehow. It's just weird shit that they do. Other things I was looking at: Boston team total, Diamondbacks team total, KC team total. I think they're all 4.5. Boston's might be 5.5. So it's pretty damn high. Houston, Baltimore first 5 under. So just in case Povich pitches well, I think Brown will pitch well. So maybe look at a first 5 under there. Probably sitting at like 4.5. Texas and Cleveland over 7. That's just a value play. There is a slight headwind, just a little bit of the wind blowing in, but like I said, offensively, I can just see Cleveland throwing up 4 or 5, and then we just need Texas to score a couple. And then Royals first 5 minus 0.5. So I kind of like that as well. Like I said, I can see him hitting the crap out of Taijuan Walker. His earned run line's at 3.5 for a reason. So those are my picks for today. Appreciate you guys tuning in. If you made it this far, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, comment down below with your favorite play today. Maybe it's not on here. Would love to hear what you guys are playing. And I will catch you tomorrow. We've got college football, so we'll be talking a little bit about college and my best bets as well. So I will catch you guys in the next video.